Right now, Governor Tony Evers preparing to deliver the State of the State address tonight. We're live at the Capitol with a preview of what he plans to say.
Plus, a Geneva man is charged in the shooting and killing of an 8-year-old child. What a judge decided to set for his bond.
And later, the man accused of setting fire to a Wisconsin congressman's office over the TikTok ban makes his initial court appearance. And we welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Good evening, I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. Tonight, Governor Tony Evers will address the state of Wisconsin, giving his vision for what he wants to see in 2025.
Well, this will be the governor's 7th State of the State address. For more on what we can expect from the governor tonight, we go live to the Capitol where our political reporter Will Keneally is standing by live. Will?
Yep, right here in about a little less than an hour, Governor Evers will deliver that annual State of the State address. Now, it comes just a few days after former President Donald Trump was inaugurated again for a new 4-year term, and so we've seen some of the interplay therein between Trump and some of the local states here, a little back and forth between Trump and a Democratic governor like Evers. Now, this is also a big policy announcement day for the governor. This starts the budget cycle that happens every odd-numbered year, and we'll hear a budget address from the governor coming up next month. We'll get into some of the specifics, but I'd listen out today to hear kind of the broad strokes of what the governor's plan is going forward for the next year. Again, also coming after the Abundant Life Christian School shooting in Madison, so we're expecting childcare, mental health, some of those to be prominent issues featured in the governor, who is a former school teacher himself, his speech as well. We'll also kind of through the run of the course of the night, we'll hear from Republicans. Evers does his big thing at the front of the Assembly chamber, and Republicans get their opportunity to respond. So listen out for to see what, if anything, Republicans are biting on, see what kind of bipartisan work can be done coming up in the year ahead. That all starts again at 7, so we'll have continued coverage coming up tonight at 10. But for now, reporting from the state capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
All right, Will, thank you.
Now, financial concerns are bringing a change in leadership, I should say, to UW-Madison's Division of Diversity, Equity, and Educational Achievement. Dr. LeVar Charleston led that division for 3 years, but effective immediately, he's leaving his role as vice chancellor and will return to work as a professor at the School of Education. It comes amid an ongoing internal review of the division, which UW says has revealed, quote, areas of concern about both financial operations and fiscal judgments. Provost Charles Isbell Jr. will take Charleston's place. Now, the UW says this will have no direct impact on students. A statement from the school reads in part, the university remains steadfastly committed to ensuring all students and employees are offered the opportunity to thrive and find a sense of belonging on campus.
Well, we have been in the deep freeze for quite a while now, and we're finally starting to see some of those temperatures tick up. Let's get your first one forecast. Alex Harrington's on the patio.
I am, and as those temperatures start to work their way up, that warm air moving into southern Wisconsin, like I mentioned last night, would bring some snow, and we've had that across southern Wisconsin. You see the snowflakes out here in the patio. We're seeing the snow likely taper a bit here from where we were just a hour ago during our 5 o'clock newscast. But we'll have a little bit more snow yet tonight as we move to the east over towards Johnson Creek and Watertown and Fort Atkinson. The snow we had coming down a little bit heavier, and it's still on the light side, has moved off towards the east and also to the south if you're going on 39 South, or if you have any travel in that direction right now. The snow's coming down a little bit more at a decent clip down towards Janesville. Widening things out here and taking a look at the rest of southern Wisconsin, Future Trek brings one more band of light snow through southern Wisconsin between 8, 9, and 10 o'clock. And then that should be it overall for the snow. Main weather, I'll show you about how much more I think we'll get in overall accumulation. You said those temperatures are on their way up. Remember, yesterday we were right around 0. Now we're at 21 here in Madison, 20 to the east in Watertown, 25 to the west in Boscobel. And we got a lot of 23s and some 21s across Dane County. Planning the rest of our evening. Temperatures staying pretty steady in the 20s. Those wind chills nowhere near as cold as what we've been experiencing the past couple of days in Maine weather. Again, I'll let you know how much more snow we can expect out of tonight, where our temperatures are going to go when we approach 40 degrees, and a little bit more about the 10-day forecast on precipitation, because boy, we could use more of it.
All right, Alex, thank you. A driver is dead after crashing in Janesville early this morning. Just after 6:30, first responders arrived at Highway 12 at Deerfield Drive for a single car crash with multiple traffic signals down. The Rock County Medical Examiner pronounced the driver, who was the only person in the car at the time of the crash, dead at the scene. The cause of that crash remains under investigation.
A man is charged in the shooting death of an 8-year-old boy in Geneva. 52-year-old Stephen Merkel is being held on referred charges for first-degree reckless homicide. Town of Geneva police say they were called to Merkel's home early Monday morning and found a boy with a gunshot wound. That boy later died at the hospital from his injuries.
Given the serious nature of this offense, as well as the record, what I'm asking the court to do at this time is set a $250,000 cash bond.
So far, there's no word from police about what led to the shooting or how it happened. Merkel's defense attorney describes his client as a longtime resident of Walworth County. He will be back in court tomorrow. The man accused of setting fire to Representative Glenn Grothman's office is now officially charged.
Well, the man's court appearance was this morning. Our Merrill Hubbard is here now to break down the charges against him. Merrill.
Yeah, Eric, Sarah, 19-year-old Caden Sage Stakowitz is charged with arson, terrorist threats, attempted burglary, and criminal damage to property. The charges were made official in Fond du Lac County Court this morning.
I also believe that there is a potential risk to the public. The court is ordering a $500,000 cash bond, no contact with Congressman Grothman, his office, or staff, or areas that are leased or rented for his campaign.
Police say early Sunday morning, crews responded to the Republican congressman's office in Fond du Lac for reports of a fire.
The back of our office does not face a street. So, I think it easily could have burned for like a half hour and nobody would have reported it.
Glenn Grothman says one person called 911 and then police responded to the fire. Authorities say they later arrested Stakowitz, who allegedly admitted to setting Grothman's office on fire because of the TikTok ban.
My opinion of people like this, I take stands on hundreds of issues. If it wasn't the TikTok ban that would set him off, it would have probably been something else.
TikTok went dark Saturday night, but was back online by Sunday afternoon. A message on the app thanked then President-elect Trump for vowing to save it from being banned. Representative Grothman was one of the hundreds of Congress members who voted in favor of forcing TikTok's Chinese parent company to sell or face a ban from U.S. app stores.
Over 100 million Americans were affected by the TikTok ban. This is the only guy who felt compelled to light fire to his congressman's office.
Now, the fire didn't hurt anyone, and Grothman says he's thankful someone called 911 when they spotted it.
Merrill, thank you. No one was hurt after a fire broke out at a Whitewater home yesterday. Crews were called to the home on West Walworth Street about 1 p.m. for a report of smoke in a kitchen. Firefighters arrived to find smoke coming from the home. Everyone at the home had safely gotten out. Whitewater Fire says the fire was found in the basement. Despite firefighters' efforts, the flames spread throughout the home. No word on the exact cost of the damage yet.
Well, a tow truck driver in Neenah is being hailed as a hero after helping save 2 people from a fiery car crash. On Monday night, Tanner Adder said he was getting ready to leave his apartment for work when he heard a boom and ran outside. That's where he found a car on its side and a woman screaming for help. After calling 911, Adder said that he grabbed his fire extinguisher and drove his tow truck around the block to the crash.
It was laying on its side right here. The passenger door, it was laying like this at an angle. The passenger vehicle, passenger door was down here. The driver is up here. The lady was sitting on top of the vehicle right here, holding the door open, saying her husband was trapped inside.
So Adder was able to get that woman off of the top of the car. Then, with help from police, he got her husband out as well. The woman was treated at the hospital and released. Her husband is still in the hospital.
Well, this weekend, News 3 Now is partnering with the Society of St. Vincent de Paul again for the annual Recycle the Warmth Blanket Drive. That drive runs January 25th and 26th. Bedding, blankets, and sheets. It'll be distributed throughout the year in order to keep children in need warm. You can drop off new and gently used blankets, bedding, and sheets at St. Vinny's thrift store locations around Dane County, as well as participating churches, businesses, and other organizations. You can find a map of drop-off sites on the Society of St. Vincent de Paul website. Coming up on News 3 Now at 6, an increase of coyote sightings in southern Wisconsin.
So when we come back, what experts say may be the reason and how people can keep them from getting too close.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Well, if you've heard howling at night while walking your dog around the area and worried it might be a coyote, well, you were probably right.
Yes, experts tell News 3's Armand Rahman how they're tracking them around Madison and what to do if you spot one.
If you're out in your neighborhood and you encounter a coyote, local experts want you to know how to haze it. What that means is raising your arms really big and yelling at it to get out of here because they need to remember to be scared of us.
As long as it moves in an opposite direction from you, then that hazing is being effective.
On a chilly Wisconsin morning, David Drake with the UW Urban Canid Project, a research group that studies the behavior of local foxes and coyotes, is checking a trap on the east side of Madison.
All right, nothing here today.
But he says there definitely have been more coyotes in the daytime,
And that is a little unusual.
with more than a dozen reported since November.
It maybe suggests that they're starting to get used to human beings or losing their fear of human beings.
One that got a lot of attention on social media roamed around Violet's Park in the west side. The young male was captured at the beginning of January.
He was probably in areas during the daytime seeking food and refuge simply because he wasn't feeling that well.
Drake says one factor may be mating season is in full swing. You should keep your dogs on a leash for the next few months.
A 20-pound dog or less, if you see a coyote, you should pull that dog to you and pick it up in your arms. A dog 20 pounds or larger, you should usually have that dog leashed and next to you so that the coyote sees you and the dog together as a larger object.
It may seem abnormal to us that a coyote was shopping in Aldi grocery store in Chicago, but Drake says,
Yeah, I think it's kind of bound to happen. You know, the coyotes are a very resourceful, adaptable, opportunistic animal. They're really, really smart.
He says there have been a number of packs of coyotes in Madison for decades.
So the coyotes are not leaving the city. Obviously, the people are not leaving the city, so we better figure out how we can coexist in a positive manner.
If you'd like to get involved in checking traps with the UW Urban Canid Project in the area, you can register to do so online. Reporting in Madison, Armand Rama, News 3 Now.
And still ahead, you've probably heard of popular drugs being used for weight loss, but could they have other health benefits? What a new study is showing.
Plus, planning that next trip over spring break or maybe summertime, what the travel experts are saying about the air travel outlook this year. And can we expect any more snow this week? Alex returns. It's a complete forecast after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Well, so far this year's air travel has been off to a rocky start. Snow in the south and fires in the west all have disrupted plans.
But for those looking ahead, maybe to spring break or summer vacations, travel experts say the outlook is good. Early birds may have the best chance of taking flight. Aircraft for early morning flights usually park at the airport overnight, and a nonstop route could help minimize travel disruptions year-round. Even so, travel website Going says airfares may tick up this year as traveler demand remains healthy.
It's not an exponential rise that we're anticipating, a moderation really of what we've seen in the years coming out of the pandemic.
Meanwhile, travel industry news site Skift says more flexibility can bring lower fares.
Connections you're willing to take, how, late or early, if it's really important to you, like maybe with a corporate traveler to fly in the middle of the day at exactly the time that you want.
Global travel and tourism has almost completely bounced back from the pandemic. The UN's World Tourism Office says 1.4 billion people traveled internationally last year, falling just shy of the number of travelers back in 2019.
And we may see a little more snow later tonight. Here's Alex with the complete forecast.
Yeah, a wee bit of snow left tonight. That snow will end later this evening, but not before a dusting, maybe an isolated half-inch to an inch possible. We've already had some reports from our friends down in Janesville saying they've already had an inch or two. And as we look at Radar 3000, another little band of snow stretching from Waunakee over to Cross Plains. We had a little bit more persistent band that has had since moved to the east and southeast from Broadhead up to Footville over towards Janesville, coming down a little bit more of a decent pace. And as we go up to the north and east here, Lake Mills right along 94 to Johnson Creek, Waterloo, Watertown, snowflakes out there right now. And this again will add up to about a dusting, maybe a half-inch at most. We have one more band I'm expecting to come through here with future track. We'll do that one more time here, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, and then it breaks up and moves off towards the south into the east, and that should end our snow for tonight. Overnight lows in the single digits, just a few degrees below normal, but that really, really cold stuff that we've been experiencing, that 10 to 20 below zero actual air temperatures, that is a thing of the past. Do have some cold weather on the way, just nowhere near as cold as what we have been experiencing. Bit on the cold side on Thursday, but at least we got the sunshine out there. Temperatures in the teens to near 20 degrees. Wind chills, we're not down in that danger zone. We're in the cautionary zone early in the morning with wind chills maybe as cold as -5, and then climbing our way up into the cold category throughout the day. So a typical cold January day is expected. Now with our temperatures, we're going to see one more rather chilly day on Friday, then back up to 34 degrees by Saturday, right around normal for Sunday, and then temperatures in the 30s to near 40 degrees then for the rest of next week. So we go from the really, really cold Arctic stuff to temperatures averaging nearly 10 degrees above normal, which we see here throughout our 10-day forecast recap. Deceptively chilly on Thursday. The sun will be out, but the temperatures will be on the cool side. Although 17 is going to still feel pretty good compared to where we've been. 21, then 34, 27 by Sunday, 35 on Monday, and then there's that streak of mid-30s to near 40 through much of the rest of the next 10 days. What you're not seeing here from left to right, snow chances, maybe just a few snow showers by the time we get to that Saturday way in the 10-day. At 5 o'clock, I was mentioning our current snow depth, and I wanted to focus a little bit more on Wisconsin. We have just a little bit of light snow that we've accumulated, that dusting to an inch at most. You got to go to northern Wisconsin or up to Canada to have more of a decent snowpack. Then when we look at the potential precipitation, this is water equivalent for the next 10 days, whether it's snow or rain. The overall water equivalent may be 1/10 of an inch in southern Wisconsin. We're not looking at an active weather period. And I don't mean to keep reiterating this not such great news because we do need the moisture, but I want to stress to folks, we really do need the moisture. We have drought conditions across much of the upper Midwest, and it even includes parts of southern Wisconsin just south and east of Madison and off to the north and west. And we need that snow to replenish that watershed for our spring planting season to begin. At 10, I'll talk a little bit more about February and March average snow chances.
All right, thank you, Alex. The Food and Drug Administration is approving a nasal spray to treat depression. The spray was first approved in 2019 for adults living with major depressive disorder who also received an oral antidepressant. Now the drug, called Spravato, can be used on its own by adults who've not responded to at least 2 other antidepressants. According to Johnson & Johnson, about 21 million American adults live with major depressive disorder, and about 1/3 of them do not respond to oral antidepressants alone.
Well, they are known to aid in blood sugar control. Now those weight loss drugs, the popular GLP-1 medications, may have other surprising health benefits and also some risks. That's according to a sweeping new study. Data for more than 200,000 patients on these medications for an average of nearly 4 years was analyzed. Researchers then compared them to those who were not on those drugs. Researchers found these medications reduced risk of things like seizures, clotting disorders, fatty liver disease, and other things. They also say there's potential to reduce neurocognitive disorders,
including Alzheimer's disease and dementia. And this is really a big deal because there's no effective treatment nowadays actually for Alzheimer's disease and dementia.
Well, it's not all good news. Researchers also found increased risk of symptoms like nausea, vomiting, even paralysis of the stomach. The researchers say further study is needed into how these drugs actually work to reduce these health risks. And once there's a deeper understanding of that, the hope is that these medications could be used to treat even more health problems in the future. We'll be right back with sports after a short break. 2021 was the last time Wisconsin had a Hobie Baker Award winner, with Cole Caulfield taking home the title as college hockey's most outstanding player. But this year, UW could have another. The top line of Quinn Finley, Gavin Morrissey, and Ryland Mosley are all up for the award. The trio have combined for 38 goals and 87 points this season. Just a reminder to check out this week's edition of the Wisconsin Huddle. Casey O'Brien joins sports director Zach Henley to talk Badger women's hockey. Again, that's this Friday, 6:30 right here on News 3 Now. Luke Fickell was a nose guard in his days at Ohio State, so he is a fan of tough and gritty football, one that historically, when Wisconsin plays it, they have success, and it appears he has found an offensive coordinator who shares that mindset. UW's new offensive coordinator, Jeff Grimes, spoke with the media today, and it became clear quickly what he wants the Badger offense to do: run the football.
Just a mentality that wants to win with a rough, gritty brand of football, one that is going to establish the run and then utilize the vertical passing game that comes from the ability to run the football. You know, I believe when you can run the football, then you can do anything. If you can't run the football, then it limits your ability to do a number of other things.
Ben Johnson officially introduces the new coach of the Chicago Bears this afternoon. The former Lions offensive coordinator takes over the reins of a team that has beaten the Packers just 4 times in the last 30 meetings, Sarah. Johnson said he wanted to stay in the NFC North and has already added some fuel, like so many recently fired coaches have, to the oldest rivalry in the NFL.
And to be quite frank with you, I kind of enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice a year.
Yeah, we'll see. Tonight's Bucs game against the Pelicans has been postponed due to a snowstorm in the New Orleans area. The Deer have won 4 straight games. They're scheduled to host the Heat tomorrow night in Milwaukee. Snow causing problems all over the place, Alex.
Right.
We've dodged it for the most part this season. We got a few flurries out there.
A few flurries. Some places reporting inch, maybe 2 inches tonight. It could still cause a couple of slick spots out there. And one more band, as we see here with Future Track coming through 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, and then that should be the end of our overall snow. Dusting to maybe another inch, as I mentioned. So take it easy. The on-ramps, the side roads, sidewalks as well. If you happen to be walking a dog or want to get a walk out there, might be on the slick side, but then it's all dry and temperatures near 40 by the time we get to next week.
You know I'm looking forward to that.
Big change.
Alex, thanks. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
See you at 10 o'clock.